Welcome to this session. This is a training session for our Chatty Table Volunteers. My name's Jenny and I'm the volunteer manager with the Chatty Cafe scheme. In this session, we're going to look at what boundaries are and why we have them, the rules that we ask you to follow as a Chatty Table volunteer. We'll also look at 3 different scenarios that could happen and the possible outcomes. If you've got any questions at all after watching this session, please email myself, Jenny, at thechattycafescheme.co.uk. Boundaries exist to protect both yourself, the volunteer, and the attendees at the table. They provide a clear framework to operate within. Grey areas can cause confusion and can lead to awkward situations at best, and at worst could hurt you, your attendees, or the reputation of the Chatty Cafe scheme. By sticking within the boundaries of your role, you ensure no difficult problems arise. I now want to look at our Chatty Table volunteer rules that we are asking you to follow. As a Chatty Table volunteer, you're agreeing to give your time each week to host your table and to create a friendly, welcoming space for people to meet and chat. You should always let your venue and the Chatty Cafe team know as soon as possible if there's a week you are unable to host your table. Your role does not include, under any circumstances, sharing your personal details with your attendees, or providing any healthcare or health information, for example, advising somebody about medication. You should never discuss the finances of your attendees or offer to give or accept money. You should never get involved in your attendees' affairs, for example, offering to act as someone's power of attorney. You should never accept or give gifts to your attendees, and you should never offer counselling or therapy to your attendees. And you should never invite attendees to your home or visit an attendee's home. Even if you know and understand your boundaries, you may still encounter situations in which it's difficult to maintain them. We know volunteers are generally kind, giving people. That is why you like to volunteer. So wanting to go the extra mile to help someone can be second nature. Refusing someone can be very difficult, especially if you feel doing something would really benefit the other person. We understand saying no isn't easy, but it can prevent a very uncomfortable situation happening in the future. I'm now going to run through some examples of situations and talk about what the outcomes could be and how to avoid them. Please note that these examples are all real situations that have happened, and each volunteer involved has, in the end, regretted not staying within their boundaries. Saying no at the start can be much easier than having to get out of an uncomfortable situation further down the line. If any of these situations are familiar and you need help or advice with how to deal with something, please do email me and I can assist you. We don't want any of these rules to feel heavy-handed or overly forceful. We just want to keep you as safe as possible and ensure you are aware of possible outcomes. So offering to buy someone a coffee doesn't seem like such a big deal, does it? It's second nature to be sat in a cafe and offer those you are with a drink. But your chatter and natter table is different. You are the host, and your role does not include buying others a drink. But maybe someone forgot their purse or wallet. What then? Do bear in mind, if you buy someone a drink one week and they turn out to regularly forget their money, they may expect you to buy them one each time. Or if you have a large table of attendees and you buy someone a drink one week, someone else may ask you to cover their drink another week as they saw you doing it previously for someone else. Remember, you're not there to buy anyone's food or drink. Always purchase your own at the start, and everyone else should follow suit. If you spot someone at your table who doesn't have a drink, this could be because they've forgotten their money, or maybe they cannot afford one. Consider asking for a jug of water and some glasses for your table. And that way, anyone that doesn't purchase a drink can still hold a glass and not feel conscious they haven't purchased a drink. It may not seem such a big deal to offer someone a lift to or from your chatty table. It is just a kind act, surely, and also helps more people attend your table who otherwise may be unable to. When I was hosting my table, a lovely elderly lady attended most weeks and came on the bus. One week, the weather was torrential, and I will be honest, it was really hard not to offer the lady a lift home. But I had to remember that was not allowed within my role as a volunteer host. The risk is the lady could have expected a lift each week, especially as it was winter, and then I would have been in an awkward position. Another attendee could have lived near the lady and also asked for a lift one week. By me not offering this lady a lift, I avoided any uncomfortable situation arising in the future. Always try and be mindful of where something could lead. One lift one week could soon turn into something much more. Also, even more importantly, please remember that we do not know who will attend your table. Your safety is paramount to us, and you should never offer any attendees a lift to or from your table. If someone asks for a lift, gently explain you're unable to provide lifts as a chatty table host. Maybe there is a local charity that can help the person get to your table. There are lots of local charities that provide transport for the elderly or the disabled. Giving someone your phone number. This may seem like a low risk but kind thing to do, but it can result in you finding yourself in an uneasy position. If someone is upset at your table one week, maybe they're going through a difficult time, and you decide to hand them your phone number for if they need to talk. As you hand over your number, you imagine they may call you one afternoon for a chat like you offered, and you really wouldn't mind that. But what if the person started to call you more often, even daily, maybe even late at night when they feel particularly anxious? You could then find yourself in the uneasy position of having to ask them to stop calling you or even having to block their number. What may start out as a kind gesture can easily be misconstrued. Gestures can have different interpretations and can lead to one of you becoming embarrassed by the situation. So never offer your personal number out. If someone is struggling with their mental health, please signpost them to one of the numbers on the back of your lanyard card, like the Samaritans or SANE. Agreeing to visit somebody's house. Maybe you have a lovely gentleman at your table who's widowed and struggling with things since hurting his leg. He only lives 5 minutes from you and he seems so sad at the table. You offer to pop in for a coffee later in the week. Again, please remember, we do not know the background of anyone who attends your table. Neither the cafe nor ourselves will have any information on the people who come to your table. Please keep yourself safe. Do not go to the home of anyone you meet at the table. If someone at your table is struggling coping at home, advise them to speak to their GP. If they are finding things hard mentally, signpost them to SANE or the Samaritans on the back of your lanyard card. Offering medical advice. To offer medical advice to someone at your table can seem so harmless, but it's always best to be careful. Maybe someone at your table doesn't feel well and is telling you how they are feeling. You realise you recognise their symptoms because your mum had the same and you suspect it could be the same illness. Or maybe you were unwell a few weeks ago and you know just the medicine that will work. Please refrain from giving any medical advice. You will not know the person's full medical history, and we are not trained in medical advice. Please encourage the person to go to see their GP or the chemist. Accepting a gift from an attendee. We appreciate over time you may consider some of your attendees friends, but do always be mindful of how a situation can play out over time. A lady at your table may find out it's your birthday and buy you a gift. Some weeks later, it could be her birthday, and she becomes upset that you haven't bought her a gift back, so you buy her a small present. And a week later, it's another lady's birthday. This situation could become very awkward and not forgetting expensive, as it did for one of our volunteer hosts. Or maybe you can see one of your attendees is rather down at the moment and you want to give them a little cheer up. You buy them a box of chocolates. As kind a gesture as this is, it can put the person in an uncomfortable position. They may not be able to afford to reciprocate, and even though you didn't buy them a gift for one in return, this could leave them feeling very awkward or embarrassed. If you stay within your volunteer guidelines, you should not find yourself in this difficult situation. If someone offers you a gift, explain as kindly as you can that you cannot accept it within your role as a chatty table host. Discussing finances at your table. Please never let the topic of conversation at your table be about anyone's personal finances. Not only is this personal information, it could put someone at risk. Should there be someone at your table needing financial guidance, please advise them to contact their local Citizens Advice Office. You are all doing an amazing job as Chatty Table hosts. You're helping your communities. You're making a real difference to how people feel. Don't underestimate the impact your table is having. It doesn't matter if you have 3 attendees or 15. Your kindness and all the time you are giving is to be commended. This training session is to try and help your volunteer experience be as enjoyable as possible. If you have any questions following this video, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Jenny at the chattycaffescheme.co.uk. Thank you for listening.